Welcome to Hiking Adventures with Mark Winfield. My friend Stuart and I are in the White Mountains to travel along the Presidential Traverse. The Presidential Traverse is a range of 7 mountains in the White Mountains of New Hampshire and includes Mount Washington, which is one of the tallest mountains on this side of the continent. The Appalachian Trail follows the traverse. This video is about our September 2022 try at the Presidential Traverse, but we had taken a run at it in June of that year, though we took a different route. We left from Pinkham Notch and went up the opposite side of Mount Madison over the summit to get to Madison Spring Hut. The June trip went up the Old Jackson Road and onto the Madison Gulf Trail, across the Osgood Cutoff, and then up the Osgood Trail to get to Mount Madison. And one of the problems with that route is that very early on the Osgood Trail you get very, very steep trails, and you also get to the boulder field on Mount Madison and have quite a travel along the boulder field just to get to the summit, let alone get over it. Well, getting up Mount Madison turned out to be more than we bargained for, and at 11 o'clock at night we still weren't at the summit, so we had to stop and actually spent the night in our tent at 4,800 feet. The next day we went over the summit and down to the Madison Spring Hut, and when we got there we decided that the mountain had just taken too much out of us, so we called it a day and we hiked down the Valleyway Trail to the trailhead at Appalachia. Welcome site, Madison Springs Hut, where we had hoped to get and spend the night last night. That didn't work out. We just finished 2 days of hiking, and for my part, the toughest 2 days of hiking I've ever done, and I'm probably the most tired I've ever been.
I prefer the more moderate and difficult hikes, but I've never ever had anything as difficult as what we just went through the last 2 days. It is extremely challenging.
And I'm here at the Highland Center in Crawford Notch, New Hampshire in the White Mountains, and my friend Stuart and I are here to do the Presidential Traverse.
So, as if we hadn't learned our lesson in June, we're at it again in September. We're going to make another attempt at the Presidential Traverse.
So here we are. This is Walt. We're at Appalachia, and as my friend Stuart, we're just about to start up Madison and the Valleyway Trail. We're going to rendezvous at the hut with Walt, who's also doing the trail, and you'll probably see him again.
Presidential Traverse.
Yeah, so here we are. We came down this trail a couple of months ago in June. Now we get to go up, because our destination today is Madison Spring Hut, which is 3.8 miles.
It's like 9 inches.
Yeah, it's like nothing. And this is the warning that we have, that you should be doing this trail only if you're in top physical condition. Well, Stuart and I should be Olympic athletes, but we've decided to go a different road, so we'll see how that goes. So we're just starting and we're at 1,160 feet, 3,500 feet to climb today. So we got our work cut out for us. Stuart thinks it would be fun riding down those waterfalls. We're at a little over 1,500 feet, and it continues to go up. And we're part way up, and we're by this really nice spot. I come across this group who are an over 40 AMC group doing the same route that we are doing. So what are you doing here?
I'm trying to resuscitate this drainage right here. This thing has pretty much been obliterated over the years.
Huh?
You notice there's great work down the trail. Obviously someone's doing some great attention to the maintenance. Yeah.
So you're a volunteer, or?
Yeah, trail adopter.
Yeah.
AMC trail adopter.
Well, we really appreciate your work.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We're at 2,500 feet and still going up. (3,100 feet). Trail's plenty steep and plenty rough. But that's what you get on this hike. 3,300 feet. (3,400 feet). We're at 3,650 feet, and
Hi, my name's Jessica. I'm from New Hampshire, and I'm here with my new friends doing the Presidential Traverse hike in the White Mountains.
yeah, and we're at close to 4,000 feet, and we just came to this first place that we've really got a view from, because we've been in the woods, and way up there, and notice the boulder field at the top. That's Mount Madison. That's the first summit in the series of mountains that we're all traveling together. 3,800 feet. (4,315 feet). (4,400 feet). We've just entered the alpine zone on Mount Madison. This is our first full vista view that we've had. Really nice. You can see the boulder field for Madison Mountain up there beyond Stewart. And the hut should soon come into view. And here we are. So we're at Madison Spring Hut, and Mount Madison is up that way. When we were here in June, we were up over Mount Madison from the other side, so we're not going up there today. And so this is the view from Mount Madison. Seven o'clock in the morning. And this is where we're going. Up there.
Well, some shit for me, you're trying to think I'm stupid. But you told me not to feel bad about not going to talk to
Great.
That's Mount Madison there. Mount Adams is up that way.
Here comes Mark. We just left Madison Spring Hut this morning. You can see that in the background. It's beautiful. And you can see Mark standing by that cairn. This is their spectacular view of Mount Madison. And we're going up here somewhere. And it's going to be a great day. Already, we've worked up a bit of a sweat. Lots of elevation and rocks to climb. But what do you think? I think we're doing good. A nice relaxed pace. Here comes Mark. Graceful is being safe. There's Starfish Lake down there. That's Mount Madison and behind Mark. We were up there in June. And now we're continuing on to do the other peaks in the Presidential Traverse. And we have a friend up here, Jessica, who has joined us.
At 4,600 feet. And we're at the first cairn. We got a cairn here, and up past Stewart is another cairn, and Rebecca is just passing another cairn. So we're at a little intersection here. We're going to the Gulf Side Trail, which is the AT, which is that way. And the hut was that way where we came from. And still our view is to die for. Now that we got up to the crest of this mountain, we've got a new view in this direction. We're at an intersection, and here it's half a mile to Mount Adams, up that way. Rebecca's found a nice place to wait for us. Up this boulder field, pick your way up. It's a bit of work. We've come across this boulder field from down there, across the side hill. You can see the cairns. That's rough going, and I'm pulling up the rear, unfortunately, because I'm quite slow on terrain like that. And you can see my fellow hikers are up there. You can see further up, there's people further up. So I presume up there is the summit. I think I see somebody way up top there. Right about there. We're at 5,200 feet, and it's hard not to stop and just look around because the views are, just the whole morning so far, are wicked. But we're going up and it's quite steep, so you got to take your time, be cautious. We're at 5,300 feet. Which actually is the same elevation as Mount Madison is, approximately, which is the previous mountain on the range. Now, we're making our way slowly up here. At the hut, I ran into a through hiker, and she was telling me that two of her buddies along the trail broke their ankles in the White Mountains. So on terrain like this, so you take your time, make sure you know where you're going. According to my watch, we're at 5,400 feet. We came from down there, slow trip up Boulder Field. This is what going down Mount Adams looks like. Stuart and Rebecca are ways ahead of me. We're going to be heading over there, I think.
There's Mark coming down a pretty rough stretch right off of the summit of Mount Adams. It's a little bit treacherous, as you can see. You're bouldering, crawling over these rocks all the way. You can see that it's not particularly easy.
Coming down off Adams, traveling through this boulder field, and I doubt there's anybody who's slower at this than I am. I just had a fellow pass me, and in a matter of minutes he was completely out of sight. So I expect my friends are waiting for me down below. Just come down through that boulder field there, and we're coming to a junction here. And I think we go left down here, but we'll get down and take a look at the signs and the map, and away we'll go. And it's just a gorgeous day. Look at that over there. Everywhere you look, it's beautiful. So here we are at a junction. We're on the Appalachian Trail, and just met a couple of through hikers, and that's they're on the Appalachian Trail heading towards the hut, and they'll go over Madison and down the other side to Pinkham Notch, which is what we did in June, though coming the other way. But we're here for the Presidential Traverse, and I believe we want to go this way. Let's take a look at this sign. Mount Washington. Yep, that's the way we want to go. That's our destination, those buildings on top of the mountain, Mount Washington. Continuing on the Appalachian Trail, Mount Washington over there. And this is much easier going than going up and down Adams, I can tell you. We can make a little bit of time here. It took us 3 hours to go 1.8 kilometers over Adams, so we're racing compared to that now.
Sunbathing.
Sunbathing, right? And you can see there in the distance, the top of Mount Washington, those buildings. We're trudging along here. We're at 4,800 feet. I think Adams was what, 5,300, 5,500, something like that. So we've come down quite a bit. Now we're making our way back up. And but it's a good day. It's noon, and it's what, probably 65 degrees?
Yeah, at least that.
Maybe 70.
Feels nice and warm.
Yeah, it's warm but not hot. And even here, you got, I mean, look over there, you got beautiful views. Everywhere you go, we got beautiful views.
We're in a col here now, or col, whatever we call it.
Yeah.
A pass.
Cole, yeah.
And we got mountains all around us.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Life's good. Looks a little closer.
Spectacular.
I'm pretty sure people come here and ski in the winter. They can have that. There's Mountain Man Stewart. We're looking down the ravine. We're up pretty high. I think we're up around 4,800 feet. And that's where we're going. We're crossing a col or pass or Stewart between two large ravines, very steep. Of course, a very steep edge that we're going to be climbing up here shortly.
Look at that view behind you.
And some big rocks. We've got some work ahead of us.
It's amazing.
Here's a good view of the ravine. As you can see, very steep. That's where we came from. And over there is where we're going. We're at a intersection, and we want to go to the Lake of the Clouds, which is up that way. 4,640 feet. And it's tough going. So we're up in the mountains here on the side of Jefferson, right? Yes. And according to my watch, we're at 4,740 feet, which is just roughly. And we met these two people from Vermont. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm enjoying the clouds today. It's not really a problem.
Yeah.
The clouds kind of make everything a little bit better today.
Yeah, it's nice and mild.
It's locked in, but gives us the perfect atmospherics.
Yeah. So you came over from the Washington side?
We came up the Great Gulf, the Sphinx Trail, the other side of Jefferson.
Yeah.
And we're going to walk over that mountain and then back down. Get home at like late tonight. Home being our tent down in the Great Gulf.
So we decided we're going to bypass the Jefferson summit in favor of going directly to Mount Washington, which is Stuart and I are both unanimous on that. It's we're at 4,800 feet, and look at this view. And there's no breeze, which is really unusual for this part of the world. It's just a very gentle breeze.
Clouds.
Yeah, we were up there, traveled along there, down through the Cole or pass there, back up the steep edge of this ravine, and here we are. Just came up there, which wasn't so bad, and now heading back into the Alpine zone. And we continue to go up. Cruising on through the Alpine zone on the flanks of Mount Jefferson. Bit of a narrow part of the trail, which is the Appalachian Trail that we're traveling on. We're just about at 5,000 feet. We're at an intersection here. Here's the trail that comes down from Jefferson. Now, we didn't go up Jefferson. We came from this direction across there. So we're on the flanks of Jefferson, and we're at this crossroads. And you can see that Mount Washington is over there. And over there is a ridge between here and Mount Washington, which I expect we're going across. It's 20 after 3 in the afternoon. We're coming down to this little valley and then heading up. We're going over the top of Mount Clay on our way up to Mount Washington. So we've got some climbing ahead of us. My watch says 4,685 feet, but it's based on atmospheric pressure. I'm not sure that that's the right number, but that's what it says anyway. There's Washington up there. There's the flanks. And from here to there is pretty well vertical. Cool walking through passages like this. The big rocks and the cairns. Meeting other hikers. Almost 4 o'clock. We're at another intersection. We're heading to Mount Washington and Lake of the Clouds. This is the way you would go if you wanted to do the Mount Clay summit, which we're not doing. We've already hiked for 8 hours, so we're not going to get it done. And we're going this way. You can see Stuart's up ahead there a bit. We're continuing up. And we were down. Right, Stuart?
Right on.
There's a hut across the valley there. But look at how far we can see. Just beautiful. We were down there. It's 5 o'clock approximately, and we're at 5,000 feet. And making our way. We're pretty tired. .4 to Mount Washington. There's Stuart over there, and you can see some of the cairns. Fairly rough going, but not the worst we've seen. We're getting close to the summit. That's it there, the buildings that you see. And then, over here, to Lake of the Clouds Hut, which is our destination. So we're on the flanks of Mount Washington, and up there is the summit. Now, it looks fairly close, but it's a mile and it's 1,000 feet elevation from where we are, and it's now a 5:45, and there's probably only daylight here till somewhere around 8 o'clock. So Stuart and I really both want to do the summit. However, we don't want to travel off of Mount Washington down to the hut in the dark like we did last time when we were climbing Madison. That's treacherous going, and we can handle it. But
consider that Mount Washington is probably the worst weather anywhere. It can blow up real quick, and if we're in the dark, that would be terrible.
So what we've decided to do, at least tentatively, I think we can go through, is we're going to take a trail that is just up there, that goes along the flank of Mount Washington and takes us to the hut fairly directly. And then tomorrow, from the hut, we'll go up Mount Washington. So we'll get it done then.
Right on.
Cool. Seems like a sensible plan.
Great plan.
So we'd go left if we were going to the summit, but we're going to Lake of the Clouds, 1.8 miles, and it's 6 o'clock. So we'll do well to get there by 8, and that'll be that. And we'll get some supper. This stretch of trail has been friendlier than most that we've been on, but there's still work. There's our destination. There's Stuart. We have to go over there. There's Stuart up ahead. And then I presume we're going to go across there and down to the hut. Sign says 0.9 to Lake of the Clouds. Look at that. How's that? It's 20 to 8, and now we're using our headlights. And just over there is the hut.
On our final descent to Lakes of the Clouds Hut, we came across several patches of blood. It looked like blood had been spilled, maybe an animal attacked, maybe a bird attacked a squirrel or something. There was a lot of blood on the rocks. And I didn't find out until the next morning at breakfast, sitting across from someone by the name of John, or Sparky, that someone asked him how he was, and I asked what had happened, and he had fallen and banged his head on the trail and lost a significant amount of blood. Fortunately, he was treated by some other hikers, one being an EMT, another one being an emergency room doctor, so that was quite lucky to have those resources available.
So we're at a crossroads here, and we've got 0.1 to Lake of the Clouds Hut, which is just over there somewhere. Anyway, trust me, it's over there. This morning at Lake of the Clouds hut, we're all waiting for breakfast. Looks like a gorgeous day. And once again, look at these views. Unreal. So it's 8:30 in the morning, we're just starting out. We're going to take the Crawford path up to Mount Washington. These are the views that we're seeing already. Stuart wants to go for a swim, but I said I don't think that's allowed here. A smile on his face first thing in the morning, that's good. This is the trail that we traveled on last night in the dark, and we took our time and we were fine. So we're going back up this trail till we get to an intersection.
Presidential Traverse, they all look kind of like this. They're just granite. And you think, how can there possibly be a trail in there? But there is. You know, someone years ago has developed a trail system, and they've rearranged rocks to make like steps and whatnot, and they put these cairns up for people to find their way, especially in bad weather. So we're just gonna walk the step here from step that someone's laid out for us a century or more ago, and to get us to the next cairn. And so we get to the next cairn, and then we see, oh, we get there, make our way to the next cairn, and we meet some more happy hikers that we met along the path a couple times. Wonderful day.
The intersection to turn up Mount Washington is just up there. We've gone 1.3 kilometers according to all trails. We started down there. So yesterday, on our way to Lake of the Clouds, we came along the flank of Mount Washington on the Gulf Side Trail, West Side Trail. And today, we're heading to the summit, which is pretty well straight up. We've gone 0.9 miles, and apparently it's 0.6 up there.
0.6 hard miles.
Yeah, it looks hard, it's steep. We're at 5,869 feet, and we got a great view here of the Omni Resort, which is a luxury resort, super luxury resort here in the Mount Washington Valley. Three or 400 feet to go.
Oh, it's good. I like the workout routine.
This is the final stretch of our adventure. Any words of wisdom, Stuart?
Let's get it done.
Let's get it done. Stuart and I made it to the summit of Mount Washington, and I can tell you it was a lot of work, but we had just a great time doing it. It was quite a challenge, and I tell you, I'd hike any mountain with Stuart. He's just a great companion. So we didn't make it to the end of the Presidential Traverse. There wasn't enough time on our third day to go from the top of Washington down across Madison, Eisenhower, and Pierce. We're going to do that next spring, so stay tuned for more adventures. And thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the trails.